Hey YouTube! Coming to you from B1 Yoga today. I am inside because it is way too smoky outside here in Seattle. I'm going to be doing a modification today. I'm upgrading the headlamp for the Suron, and I just thought I'd do a little video on it for those of you that are interested. I'm going to try and make it somewhat short and do my best here to just get you the important stuff. And here it is. This is the headlamp I bought on Amazon. You see that right there. And this is a 2-switch setup. So I believe one of them does yellow lights and the other one does white. And boy, finding the actual key, I had to go through a lot of tools to find this little bad boy. I believe this is a 2.2, but it happens to fit in these two little screws here. And these were easy to find. I found that from my drill, so I'm going to be able to just drill those out right there. And also I thought I would tell you about another modification I did as well, just give you a heads up on that in case you're interested. This is a phone mount, which I found over at Big Five, like maybe 20 bucks or something. And these things stretch up and over the corners of your phone here. And it works really good. I tested it in Whistler, and it has a standard wraparound mount right here, if you can see that, and just wraps around, and there's a thumb screw so you can tighten it when you need. But that little unit right there worked really good. And then also I bought this from Amazon because the Suron does not have signals or a brake light, and so this is a simple Bluetooth with a rubber band type strap that holds it on, and then it wirelessly works with this setup right here, which also has a rubber band wrap and is wrapped around my shock right there. And so there's just a power button on the back, and you can see you get a little blue signal right there. And then as soon as I do, I can go right signal. It tells me it's blinking. Boom, you can see I've got it blinking to the right, and then there's one to the left. Yeah, let's check that. Yeah, you can see the left. And then there is a quick blinker and a slow blinker. And then there's also a steady red. So it's pretty comprehensive. I think I paid 25 bucks for that on Amazon, and it's worth every penny. And it comes already ready to go, plug and play. Like, it was out of the box. It even had battery charged on it already. I've only charged it once now. I've had it for about a week. And I've now put almost 200 miles on the Suron in about 3 weeks. 197 miles. And I will say I have already lost this little rubber switch. Is that coming through right there? Yeah. This is my display for the odometer. You can see right here. And this button you push, and it toggles through, you know, your menu. But apparently moving it in and out of the car, it rubbed on something and ripped that little button off. And I have spent days trying to put it back in. It is not easy. So if anybody has any help as to how to put one of those back in, I was using like a letter opener to try and push in the corners carefully. But anyway, so on to the project at hand. And by the way, the toolkit that comes with your Suron is pretty minimalist, so won't be using any of that. Okay, so here we go. I think our number one priorities are going to be to, make sure that if you have the battery in, you turn that breaker off, right? And then also bleed out that remaining power that was in the system too. Okay. All right. So I am going to work on pulling these two screws right here, and then these two screws right here for the light. So I'm going to hit pause on that. Actually, I am going to put this stand into the bike here also. I think you might be able to get a better view of it. Oh, it's much better. just slide it a little bit. Here we go. Good. Now you can see the neck. And bring this closer. There we go. All right, here we go. See that? We're pulling out the actual ignition here. There we go. Very carefully. There we go. Alright, and then there should be, there's quite a bit of wire in here. Let's pull out what we can. I am looking for, I'm going to trace the light wire back here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. That's it. That goes right to here. And there's your plug. Wow, this looks pretty direct. There we are. Let's see if I can bring this over if you can see. So here's the ignition. And then this switch right here is coming from the back of the headlamp right there. And here is the switch that I'm going to disconnect and should fit exactly with that one right there. All right, I'm going to hit pause. Okay, so actually I thought I should do a little light test before. So I'm going to turn the light off here and just turn the headlamp on and see. I reconnected the breaker. But just to give an idea of the light here, let me lift that up and see the cross beam here. Yeah, it's bright. There's no doubt about it, but I'm hoping this next one is a lot better. Especially having a switch to be able to turn on and off. I'm really looking forward to it because I don't want to ride with the light all the time. It's battery suck. Okay, there's no switch on this one. The one that comes with the factory anyway. So I'm going to put this back here and I'm going to turn that off and flip the breaker again so the breaker is off and then turn it back on, bleed the electric in the line. And here, I see that is loose. Right there, okay, maybe that got, last time they were working on this, okay, there you are. Wow, there's not much length in that to get down to that switch and pull it apart there. That's really interesting. It should not give you, let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here on this line is that white line right there. That's actually a little button, a release, so that you can push it and then pull these two wires apart. It's making itself quite difficult to access. Yeah, pause. Okay, I got it. It was not easy, but I managed to just a little bit grab all of these wires and pull about a ½ inch more length out of this. And then that little white line right there leads to the button release on this side. There's a little button release right there. And I've already pushed that, so this should come apart. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use both hands. I'm going to be extra careful. Wow. They do not make that easy to come apart. Alright, tool. Okay, well that was not easy. Fortunately I have a pair of these Robo Grips, which are spring loaded, and a couple of these bent pliers. And so I was able to get in, hold it with this one and get the bottom of the actual, not the wires, but the plastic part. And it took several tries, being very careful, to try and pull that switch out. So before I do any hookups, I'm just going to do a test run on this light and see. Oh, I have to run it maybe through here. Now, so, okay. Guess I'm going to wait on that, but I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this half of the light first so I can get access through the back and wire it through here now. Actually, I might still just be able to do that. This is really just so I can do a test and at the same time not have to backtrack some wiring. But I think I can just plug this through here. I'm going to lay that right there. So, here. There we go. Alright, so there's the new light. And then we're going to plug in right here. Going to hold it. And which way? This way. So that goes on the top. Huh. Click! Boy, that was right in. Alright, here, let's see what happens. Hope all goes well. We've got the key in there. We're just going to flip the breaker. All is well. I'm going to turn off the light. And let's turn the key on for our test. Ah, okay, so there's no light. We have no working light yet. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got power on the switches. That's looking nice. I like the blue. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we definitely have a yellow beam there. Yellow on and off. And there's the white on and off. Wow. Let's turn the lights off and do that test we did earlier. Let's see. Here we go. Yellow. Oh, even that's quite bright. Alright, and let's do white. Oh, this is more of a point. But it is kind of wide, but it's more directional. That's interesting. I would have thought it was more wider from what I was seeing. And then let's see if we get yellow and white. It's definitely brighter. Oh, there we go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and connect that and disconnect the other light. All right, so let's power down. There we go. Hit pause. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start taking this factory light off. Make sure you do not drop the lock washer that's on there too. Other side. There we go. There's your little screw. And then I should just be able to pull, boom, that one right out. Sure enough. It might be nice to actually have both of those as a possibility. If anybody has done that or knows how to do that, that'd be great. Alright, let's back these out. Oh, that's interesting. How does that work? Are you serious? No, that seems like a bad idea. I hope that's not what that is, what that looks like to me. There is a nut right there, down in that little trough there. And yep, it's loose in there. It's totally loose in there. That's gonna suck trying to put that in there. Behind here, how are you supposed to do that? All right, well, I'm gonna hit pause and do some figuring. Okay, well, plug and play, this is not. Because I just recognized that the bracket that comes from the factory is not the same size as what goes onto here. There's a bit of a gap. About a 1/2 inch difference. And it looks like it'll still work, but I'm not sure how to hold both of these nuts in place while sliding the bolt through. Oh, I'm gonna work on this. Okay, well, that took some creative ingenuity and some dexterity in the finger department, that's for sure. All right, so I took the bit right here and stuck it on an extension so I could see the light here. There's a channel that runs through here, and I had to stick this in through the channel to get the bolt into that little hole and through that little hole and then into that nut right there. And then I had to hold the nut with this Allen wrench with this hand in place against the wall while I hand turned that bolt in. Now how I got to do this other side, I'm going to try and do the exact same thing. I wish I could show you this, but I can't do all of this and hold it at the same time. But basically here, I'm loading the bolt and I'm going to slide it along this channel right here. Maybe you can see from this angle through the hole and try and get that nut that just sits there floating around in that deep pocket. This whole thing is a pocket. And so the nut easily falls down into that channel and disappears, and you have to start all over again. Woo! So if that happens now, I'll have to take this one out, potentially, to get the nut back out. So here we go. Oh, also interestingly enough, these are not lock nuts. So they're not, I don't know how they're going to stay on in all the vibration also. But put some more light on the subject here. There. So I'm going to use this to try and keep that nut right against the wall. Is this? Ah! Oh. Good news. Didn't disappear somewhere in the bike. All right. Well, that is not working. Wow. There. Oh, I think I got it. There we go. Wow. Trying to get the bolt back on. Ha! Oh, I've got the bolt in the nut. Now, hopefully I can just back it up a little bit. Oh no, it fell out and then rotated. Oh, I managed to readjust it and save it. Oh, wow, I think I got it. I totally got it. That's incredible. Wow. Well, okay, it's almost tight on this side. Let's try and snug up this side. Yep. Alright. Alright, so... Huh! Okay, let's test it again. Here we go, here we go. Turn that off. Oh, it's working. Both lights are on. And let's test the switch. I like those blue lights on the switches. Yep. Boom. On, off. Both on. That is quite good. Well, I have to say that was quite the pain to try and do that. I'll show you again from here what maybe you can see. Yeah, so there's right there is the bolt going through and a nut in that little pocket right there. I don't know if that's really showing there. But it's wired in now. I just have to connect the switch to the neck and see how that goes. Let's turn this off. Well, the question is, where do we want that switch? Do I want it here? I actually want it over here. I got lots of space. Oh, well. Also, we have another modification to consider is the mirror. Because of course, Suron does not come with a mirror either, which feels very dangerous when you are riding. So this is, of course it's only one way too. I think this is a left-hand mirror. Let's figure that out before we go any farther. There we go. Alright, looks like that's nice. Nice big mirror. Back it. Okay. Good. There we go. Another mount, but I don't see that this is specific to right or left. I thought for sure it was. Go here. If you go here, oh. So yeah. Clearly, it has to go here because you can't go there unless you want somebody else to be able to see behind you or in front of you. Alright, so now we know you have to go here, and if you do go there, maybe we should put the lights over here. You want them to go underneath like that and hang, maybe up and over. I think underneath be more aerodynamic also. And we gotta figure out what to do with all that excess wiring. Alright, let's hit pause. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and snug up these bolts since I've made my decision on where to put my switches. There. Good. Now it's movable. That's what I want. I want to be able to move it. Because when you are mountain biking off-road at night, you definitely need to be able to move this up so you can see farther ahead. And now that I've seen how bright this one is, I'll have to test it later. I'll take it out tonight and just go on the road somewhere. Okay, so you can see this black plastic face shield here. That's where I'm going to stuff the extra wiring down. It's going to go right down and underneath there. There we go. And then this is going to come and end up right here. Boom, except that throttle line is in the way. Let's see, I think it'll still be fine. So, I'm going to do this one by hand. Joy. Since I don't have one that'll work for the drill. There we go. Wow, I was definitely doing some sneezing today with all the smoke. I hope wherever you are smoke-free in the world. Because we've had so many, we've been lucky, but we've had so many fires lately that it's been smoky a lot. Fortunately, I went up to Whistler last week when it was just starting to get smoky here. Missed the smoke for almost a whole week, and then it started to move up to Whistler the day I was leaving. So it ended up being really good for me. Alright, so before I lock that all the way down, I'm going to test it again. Good. The lights. White light. Yellow lights. Both lights. Alright, so if we're here, see if I can get all the way over. Yellows first. Do I really want it there? Oh, I see. Maybe I should move this out of the way. Move you over a little further. No. That's interesting. Might have to put it on the other way because of the way the cables are coming through. Or it has to be all the way over there. It's a nice light. I hope I like it when I get out on the road. I don't think I'm going to like that. So I'm going to try to reverse it and see what it likes. Hit pause. Alright, so I've made the decision that I'm going to put it up on the top side instead of, is it coming through? Right there, the top side, instead of the bottom. I like the way the wires are coming out and just going over here and missing the brake cable. Before they were hitting it right there. So, and it still gives me room for my turn signal, which is movable, and I put right over here, over this part right here, and that's just an elastic band that holds it in place here. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this bottom U piece to the light switch. By the way, highly recommend you have the floor area clear for when you drop these freaking little screws, because it seems inevitable they're gonna drop, and you don't want to lose one, that's for sure. Here's the number 2. I'm just putting that one in a little bit, not all the way. Same with this one. And then I'll tighten them both up at the end using that tiny Allen wrench. There we go. There. Alright. And I did start putting the key controls back together here, but I thought I would stop so that you can see that basically this just climbs right back down in here, and there's a little channel for these wires right here. So that's where you want to make sure that your wires come right out of that spot right there. I think here. There we go. I don't know if I need to do that or not. I just feel like I'm trying it. And there we go. We have 3 wires coming out the neck right there nicely. And I'll show you right here. Here's the 3 wires. And this bolt holes are ready to go. And this is the USB power right there for your phone. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 bolts, put them back in there. Let's put that right there. Got the drill. And actually, I'm going to hand do this first. Make sure that they're right where I want them before I start driving it. That's good. And this one. There we go. Readjust those wires again. There we go. Alright, so the next, then finally you got to really make sure that you can still turn your handlebars all the way. And I see the wire's a little stuck right there, so I'm going to move that up. And we're good to go, both directions. And my bumpers are adjusted for